Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com, and I'm joined by the one and only Jim Cornette. Jim, how are you doing?
Son, you look like you went to give blood and forgot to say when. What's the matter with you? Gain some weight. For heaven's sake, get out in the sun once in a while.
Okay. I mean, I am from England, where it's hard to do that. Sunny days are few and far between.
They got those tan beds, you know.
They're not good for you, man.
I don't think you got a problem with that. It looks like that's the least of your worries. Anyway, what would you like to talk to me about today, my fine young man?
Hopefully, I was hoping we'd be able to talk about the fact that you're inducting the Rock and Roll Express into. I didn't say the Rockers there.
That's easy for you to say.
I know you're inducting the Rock and Roll Express into the Hall of Fame tonight. When you first found out that it was going to be you inducting that legendary tag team, how did you feel? Were you excited? Were you surprised that you got the call from WWE?
Yeah, I would say I was definitely surprised. You know, and I had to admit I was wrong. I always said that the rock and roll and midnight guys like that, we were the opposition in the 80s. We were the NWA guys, and I didn't think that they would put us in and recognize, you know, what we all did. But I was wrong, and they wanted to honor the Rock and Roll Express, and how could I refuse? You know, and especially since they were so cordial in their conversation with me. If they were that nice to me when I worked for them, I might still be there. Who knows? But at any rate, yeah, I wasn't going to be the guy to spoil Ricky and Robert's moment. And I would have had to been a real prick to turn that down, and I didn't want to be the prick.
That's fair enough. I think it's safe to say a lot of people are excited for your speech. But are you trying to keep it focused on those guys? Have you got any general things you're going to address, or are you just going to keep it sort of down the line?
Well, no, I mean, you know, I know what I'm there for, and it's all about honoring Ricky and Robert. I don't want to spoil their moment, but of course there's always the chance that someone could piss me off right before I go out, and then the red flash comes in front of the face, and then I don't really realize what I'm doing until I wake up and I got my hands around somebody's goozle pipe and I'm squeezing their britches full. But I'm going to try as best I can to remain composed and calm, and we're going to honor the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky and Robert.
A picture went up recently on social media. You met the Revival. Was it the first time you met those guys?
Actually, I thought it was, but then I found out I knew Scott Dawson under another name when I tried to get him a job with Ring of Honor.
Okay.
He had hair then and no beard, and I didn't realize it was him. So it just proves that once again I was right, because I can spot talent a mile away, and I spotted him right off the bat. So it was nice to meet those guys. I think they do a fantastic job.
They do a fantastic job, and what they kind of, I think, successfully have managed to do is blend the new slick style of wrestling with the old school psychology. Why don't you think more teams have done this?
I think everybody's too worried about, you know, doing all the cool moves and having their matches look like video games and expressing their art form, instead of going out there and doing what wrestling is supposed to be, which is simulating a conflict between two people that the fans can believe and buy tickets to see the resolution of. And if more people worried about getting over first and then doing the moves and getting the response, instead of doing the moves to get the response, and then all they remember is, hey, you remember that guy? I can't remember his name, but boy, he did 17 flips off the top rope and crashed through a burning table with thumbtacks and AIDS-infected hypodermic needles, we'd probably all be better off.
Right, okay. Now, part of the Revival success, I think, is the fact that they're in NXT, where those sort of matches and storylines and gimmicks are allowed to thrive a lot more than the kind of clustered main roster. When or if they do get moved up to the main roster, do you think they'll become restricted, or do you think they'll manage to find a way to break through?
Well, you know, you can always keep your fingers crossed, and I think that at least with NXT, they're trying to teach the next generation the right way to do things. And then they can bring them up to the main roster and screw it up, or maybe they can see that, hey, what's working for these guys should just be exposed to a bigger audience. And let's keep our fingers crossed, because I want to keep my fingers crossed, because after all, me and the WWE, I'm this, and they're that.
Very optimistic, but in a typical Jim Cornette way, I feel. And finally,
I like to look at the bright side of things.
And one final
such as the fact that this is the final question. That's the happiest news I've had all day.
And our penultimate question. No, I'm joking. And our final question: is there anyone in particular that you're looking forward to seeing tonight who you might not have seen for a while, or are you just gonna see how it goes?
Actually, I saw some of them last night when I was over there doing some things, and I hopefully will see some more of them. But I saw Chris Jericho. I haven't seen him in ages. He's coming to Louisville. I'm gonna take him for barbecue. I saw The Undertaker, who I have the utmost respect for. Guys in the office that, you know, you wouldn't know their names, but they're still a handful that was there when I was there. And so I'm looking forward to seeing some more. I'd like to see Cena again. Haven't seen him in a while. Hugged Randy Orton last night. And maybe Rocky, or The Rock, will show up. You see, it's been so long since I've seen The Rock that I still call him Rocky.
Rocky in my view.
I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jim. That's all the questions. Mercifully, that's all the questions we have. I do apologize for wasting your good time.
Well, I wish you'd just apologize for being here. By the way, thank you you. Bye.
Jack from WhatCulture.com there, and the one and only Jim Cornette. Thanks very much.